Hey y'all, welcome to the show. My name is Andre. This is Yup, I Said It. So, I told you guys that on the weekends, before the Sabbath or during the Sabbath, I would put out a video based on this new channel that I've been looking at. It's called The Rude Awakening. So I've been finding out a lot of interesting things that I never knew to be true, and I think it's very interesting, fascinating information. And I know that all of us should know this stuff. Like, we should all look at this. Now, it's hard to, accept new stuff when you hear it, because it's traditional that you celebrate Christmas. It's traditional that you call him Jesus. It's traditional. Where do these traditions come from? We have to start asking more questions. We can look around and see that things are not going well. They're not going well. There's a reason for that. Now, I'm a researcher. If you're like me, you want to find the truth. I don't care how butthurt I become. I don't care what I have to change. I want to know the truth about the Bible. I want to know the truth about the God we serve. I want to know his name. I want to know all about it. I want to do the right things. If you're like me, you want to do the right things. So how can you do the right things if you don't know what you're reading, if you don't understand what to call the Messiah, if you don't understand the history? Most people don't take time to look at the history. Most people don't take time to understand what's happened, in the past. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why are things messed up? There's some good reasoning behind it, guys. So today I want you to take a look at this video. I'm going to share with you. Michael Rood's going to explain to you why the Messiah's name is not Jesus. Yeah, you heard me. His name is not Jesus. Okay, Jesus is a made-up pagan name by the Roman Catholic Church, and it's just not a Hebrew name. The Messiah is Hebrew, so is his disciples. Okay, Peter's name was not Peter's; it's Shimon, just like what the Messiah would have called him. So we've missed a lot. Okay, we got a lot of catching up to do to figure out how to get our country back in order, how to worship Yah the proper way. We have to pick up that Torah. We have to read the Old Testament. It's so important. So guys, look, I don't want to ramble on, but I want you to take a look at what he has to say here, because it is crucial that we understand this and that we call our Messiah by his actual name.
Nearly 7,000 times, the Hebrew scriptures declare the actual name of the creator of the universe. In fact, the Almighty said the reason he brought our nation out of Egyptian bondage with such a mighty display of power was so that the entire world would know that his name is not the Lord, not Adonai, not Hashem, not God, not Jehovah, not Krishna, Vishnu, or Allah. But according to the most ancient vocalized text of the Hebrew Scriptures, his name is Yehovah. And just as the prophet Yoel prophesied concerning the upcoming tribulation, whosoever shall call upon the name of Yehovah shall be saved. This is the greatest story never told. It's all about Yeshua, the prophet, the promised Messiah. Join me here in the land of Israel as we take a chronological and archaeological journey through the Gospels. You have never seen anything like this before. I'm Michael Rood. Prepare for a rude awakening. The modern Christian perspective is 2,000 years and thousands of miles removed from the culture of first century Israel. That is the primary reason why it is extremely difficult to comprehend the importance and meaning of the gospel of the kingdom that Jesus taught. We view the world from our narrow end of the long funnel of world history, but to understand Jesus' ministry in the context of what his teachings meant to the Jews in his day, to those who were raised with both the instructions in the Torah and subject to the diverse religious systems that dominated first century Israel, we need to view the events recorded in the Gospels from their perspective. We are going back to the time long before the Gospels were written at the end of the first century. We are going back to the time that nobody called him Jesus Christ. It amuses me when I hear people speak of Jesus Christ as if he were the son of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Christ. They speak of Jesus Christ as a carpenter, and I imagine a wood sign outside their shop in Nazareth that read, Joseph Christ and Sons Carpentry. That doesn't make any sense because in the Greek version of the Gospels, he is called a teknon, a technical builder. And they built with stone in those days. Wood was scarce and used for temporary forms and scaffolding, but not for building. Maybe the sign read, Joseph Christ and Sons General Contractors. The Pilgrims brought the 1560 Geneva Bible with them when they started their colony in the New World. Jesus, I-E-S-U-S, was the name that they were familiar with. And in the name of Jesus, they prayed and received the miracle that saved their lives. Every Thanksgiving Day, we celebrate their rescue by Squanto, a freed Native American Indian slave who came back to the continent as a Christian, who was introduced to Jesus by his former master in England.
I want to personally thank you for joining my channel. Guys, more recently, I started a Patreon. I'm going to put a link in the description. Here's your chance to support something great. Here's your chance to support something truthful, something awesome that can totally change everything for us. All right. So I want you to go and support my Patreon. I'm going to try to make it as affordable as possible. And I want you guys to help me take this channel to the next level. Thank you so much.
When the letter J was added to the English alphabet, it was placed after the letter I. I was pronounced as a vowel, I, and J was pronounced as a hard consonantal Y, Y. In 1611, the name now spelled Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, was pronounced as Jesus, the same as when it was spelled I-E-S-U-S. In modern English, the vowels are A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y, because sometimes Y is pronounced as a vowel, as in jelly, and other times it is pronounced as a consonant, as in yellow. The letter J has recently taken on a sound for which it was never designed, and is still not used in Europe. Yugoslavia is spelled with a capital J, and only Americans mispronounce it as Jugoslavia. Jesus is as close to his Hebrew name, Yeshua, as the Greek language allows. In the English transliteration of his Greek name, I-E is pronounced as Ye. But there is no letter equivalent to the Hebrew letter Shin, or the sh sound in Greek. And though sus means horse in Hebrew and pig in Latin, in Greek, sus is a common substantive that is required to provide the declension of a noun to indicate case or number. Iesua, though a bit more accurate, really does not work in Greek. Thus, Jesus. But again, no one by the name of Jesus or Jesus was ever born in Israel. Before the birth of the child, the angel Gabriel came to Joseph with this instruction: Fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Joseph was to call his name Jesus for what reason? He shall save his people from their sins? What does the name Jesus have to do with saving his people? It doesn't. Not in English, not in Greek, not in Aramaic, or any other language on the planet other than Hebrew. In Genesis 3:20, Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. This makes no sense in English, but in Hebrew it is a common figure of speech, a word pun. He called her name Chava because she was the mother of all high. Or in English, Adam called her Livy because she was the mother of all living. In the 2nd century, Papias, a disciple of the gospel author John, stated that Matthew wrote his gospel in the Hebrew language, and several did their best to translate it. Early church historians acknowledged that fact several times in their writings, and Eusebius, the court bishop of Constantine, said that he saw a copy of the Hebrew Matthew but was unable to read it. It was thought that all copies of the Hebrew Matthew had been expunged under the bloody reign of Diocletian, but it unexpectedly survived in the covert archives of Jewish scribes. To this date, a total of 28 manuscript copies of the Hebrew Matthew have been located among ancient Jewish manuscripts scattered around the globe. The ancient Hebrew Matthew tells a story that cannot be appreciated in either the Aramaic or Greek translations of Matthew. And at the time Matthew was finally translated into English, the importance of his name was completely lost. The angel Gabriel's instructions to Joseph in the ancient Hebrew Matthew reads, "You shall call his name Yeshua, for Yoshia." The words "he will save" is one word in Hebrew, Yoshia. Yeshua means Yehovah saves. Yoshia means he will save. Yeshua, Yoshia. From this point on, we are going to call him by the name given to him by heaven, not the name given by Greeks, the English, or by those who mispronounce the letter J. Heaven sent a messenger to earth with the divine instruction to call him Yeshua. Why? Because Yoshia, he will save his people from their sins. The angel Gabriel instructed both Miriam and Joseph to name the child Yeshua, the short form of the name Yehoshua. Yehoshua ben Nun was the name of the servant of Moses who eventually led the nation of Israel into the promised land, spelled as Joshua in the modern English, but also translated as Jesus in the book of Hebrews. By the 3rd century BCE, Yehoshua was commonly shortened to the more familiar Yeshua, but the meaning remains the same. Not one person, not a stepfather or even his mother, ever called her son Jesus Christ. The term Christ or Christos comes from the Greek word Christos, which means to smear with animal fat, which is how the Greeks preserved their leather battle gear. Christos is remotely similar to the Hebrew term Mashiach, which refers to the one who is anointed with olive oil to be the king of Israel. Though Mashiach is transliterated into the Greek text of John 1:41 and 4:25 as Messias, they are the only times that the transliterated Hebrew word is used in the Gospels. And both times the Greek text adds the explanation that Messias means Christ. On the day of Pentecost, Peter acknowledged Yeshua's role as the prophet by quoting Moses. Throughout the Gospels, Yeshua constantly refers to himself by quoting the prophecy of Moses. The people repeatedly referred to him as the great prophet who should come into the world, an unmistakable reference to Moses' prophecy. There are dozens of references to Yeshua as the prophet. But anytime someone voiced that he was the Messiah or the son of David, a distinctive shorthand reference to the Messiah, he commanded them to shut their mouths immediately. In Luke chapter 4, verse 41 records, devils came out of many, crying out, "Thou art the Messiah, the Son of God." And he rebuked them and did not allow the demons to speak, for they knew that he was the Messiah. In Mark 1:24, there was a man in Capharnaum synagogue who had a demonic spirit. As Yeshua entered the synagogue on the Sabbath, he shouted out, "Leave us alone! What have we to do with thee, Yeshua of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are. You are the Holy One of God." Yeshua rebuked him. "Hold your peace! Shut up! Come out of him!" The prophet Isaiah, Yeshayahu, declared that the Messiah would heal the deaf, dumb, lame, lepers, and the blind. And Matthew 9:27 tells us, when Yeshua departed Jericho, two blind men followed him, crying, "Son of David, have mercy on us." Yeshua opened their eyes, and he immediately charged them, "See that no man knows." Knows what? That the Messiah, the Son of David, healed them. Matthew 12:14. Because Yeshua healed a man with a withered hand in their synagogue on the Sabbath day, the Pharisees went out and held a council. They conspired against him, how they might destroy him. When Yeshua knew it, he withdrew, and great multitudes followed him. And he healed them all. He charged them that they should not make him known. Why? That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Yeshayahu the prophet, saying, "Behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax he shall not quench, until he brings forth judgment unto victory. Then he will rule the rod of iron. And in his name shall the Gentiles trust." The Messiah's first mission was covert. He had to accomplish it behind the scenes as the prophet, the suffering servant who voluntarily pays the death penalty for the nation of Israel who broke the blood covenant at Mount Sinai. He who knew no sin died in the place of the guilty party. After this is accomplished for Israel, the Gentiles will have their opportunity to trust and obey him. Yeshua said that he did not come to bring peace to the earth. He came to bring a sword, the two-edged gospel of the kingdom. That is the sword of division that separated the invented commandments of men from the eternal commandments of the Almighty. Just before going up to the Feast of Tabernacles, Matthew 16:13 records, Yeshua asked his disciples, "Who do men say that I am?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others Yirmiyahu, one of the prophets." He said, "But who do you say that I am?" Shimon Peter said, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Yeshua answered and said, "Blessed art thou, Shimon, son of Yonah, because flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. I didn't show it to you, but my Father in heaven showed you." Then he charged all of his disciples that they should not tell anyone that he was the Messiah. From that time forward, Yeshua began to explain to his disciples how that he must go up to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed by the Gentiles, and be raised the third day. There is one exception to his secret mission as the Messiah. Just one time when he broke his own rule of silence during his entire ministry, and that was to a Gentile woman. This incident is a prophetic statement concerning the time of the Gentiles, a period of time in which partial blindness happens to Israel, and the Gentiles can be grafted into the root of Israel if they will hear and actually obey the prophet.
Have you ever heard that in church? No, you never heard it in church. Because they ain't teach you that in church. Why they ain't teach you that in church? Because they didn't know that at the church. They still don't know that at the church. They don't know it. It would take somebody to study this stuff for a long time. You would have to almost live in Israel like Michael Root. Look, I ain't championing the man. He done his homework. That's all I'm saying. The man done his homework. He understands what he's reading because he studied the culture. I've been going to church for a long time. Okay. Signed up to go to the churches. I went to one church. My family and I took my kids over there and everybody. For years we went there, you know. And they hand out these flyers every day you go into the church on a Sunday. All right. That's pagan, man. Going to church and worship on a Sunday. You're supposed to do it on Sabbath. Friday evening, sundown, to Saturday, sundown. In between that time, that's the Sabbath. We're supposed to be observing that. We're not supposed to buy, sell, cook, none of that stuff. We're supposed to rest on the Sabbath. We're not supposed to do anything really except worship, learn, study. Who is your creator? Man, who is he? He's great, okay? That's who he is. His name is literally, I am he who saves. That's his name, okay? Yahovah. I think that's amazing. Now, I'll be 44 this upcoming year. Had a Bible ever since I can remember. Never heard anybody explain the Bible like this, bro. Not one time, okay? I don't think my parents or anybody in our neighborhood could interpret what the Bible's actually saying. Well, now we know why. Because it's been translated from the Greek language to the English language. When it's a Hebrew culture, our Messiah, Jesus, is actually a Hebrew, spoke Hebrew, okay? And his name ain't Jesus, bro. It is Yeshua. Never heard the name till I got older. Bought me a t-shirt, said Yeshua. So if you've been lied to about his name, who you been praying to? Who is this fella Jesus? We're going to do a lot more research about this because something tells me that there's a lot more to this story than what we know. Okay? Jesus, right? Now, one of the people blaspheming his name because it ain't got no meaning, right? It's a Roman Catholic pagan nickname that they gave our Messiah. Okay? You can blaspheme it all you want. It don't mean nothing. Guys, the truth will set you free. We need to know the truth. Our generation has got to find out the truth. There's no need for us to be suffering like this. The Bible gives us many promises. Yah gives us so many promises that if we obey him, get away from this pagan worship, man, that these Roman Catholics have been having us do for many years now. If we get away from that, come into the truth and worship him like he said to do it, live life like he said to do it, we won't have all these crazy problems in our politics, in our food, in our culture. It's wild, man. There's a reason why it's happening, though. It's not just happening because, you know, the devil's just run. No, the devil's doing this because we have fallen away. We got to get into the Torah. That's the first 5 books in the Bible. We need to study those. If you just pick up the book and read it, blow the dust off of it, okay? Get the dust off your Bible. Open it up, start at Genesis, and just keep reading. over and over. Just keep reading and pray that you understand what you're reading. God will start to show. I'm telling you, he'll start to show you what you're reading. Just like I stumbled upon Michael Rood's channel. I've been praying about this, man. I've been wanting to know the truth. So he's showing me. He's showing me. This is not the only channel, by the way. Okay. I know it's some old white guy, but I don't care about color. I care about facts and truth and information. There's a lot of people that know this stuff. You just got to go searching. And you know, YouTube, if you find something that you like on YouTube, they're going to keep feeding you more of the same stuff. So look, get with it. Let's find out the truth all together here. I'm going to be sharing as much as I possibly can because it's vital, crucial. Everybody wanted to get out of this mess we're in, man. Everybody want Trump to get back in office. So do I. Everybody want to, be free and be financially free. Yeah. Yes, we all want it. How do we get there is what we should be asking ourselves. The only way we're going to do that, I mean, literally, the only way to do that. We call ourselves Christians, right? The only way to do that is to get in that Bible and read the words. Read it. Get into it for real. Study it. If the Almighty Yahweh is who he say he is, he knows what you're doing all of the time. If the hairs on your head are numbered, I always tell my kids that he's watching everything. He numbered the hairs on your head. This is your creator knows who you are. He knows what's going on. He knows when you're being real and fake. Stop pretending to follow something that you don't know anything about. I don't care if you get butthurt about this, man. We need to get serious. I want people to do better. I want our country to do better. I want to thrive. We don't have to sit around here and take this whipping. We don't have to do it. But we got to get serious about him. He's not joking. Yeshua is coming back. Everybody knows it. Even the wicked evildoers know it. The atheists know this stuff. Talking about climate change is getting warm. Yeah, it's going to get hot. Okay, fire and brimstone is coming. You better get serious. We're going to be saying, I told you so. Till the next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot of information out of it as I did. I'm going to keep studying and keep showing you more and more as this unfolds. Thank you so much.